I'm at the CRFA Show, and I'm talking with Eleazar Hernandez about the Mexican Vanilla Plantation. Is that it? So tell me a bit about their product. It is exceptional compared to other vanillas that I've personally used.
Well, first of all, the type of vanilla that we cultivate is the original one. It was cultivated in the Gulf of Mexico, the state of Veracruz. That's the birthplace of vanilla. The methods we use for cultivation are the original methods used by Asian people in that area. And the curing process, that is the one that develops all the aroma and the flavors. We have developed a really controlled curing process that takes around 2 or 3 times more than the traditional one. But it allows us to develop a more content of vanillin, for example, to cure the vanilla. Well, the vanilla it's a like a green bean originally. It has no flavor, no taste. You have to cure it in order to develop all the flavors and the aroma. The curing process consists in drying the vanilla, but that drying has to be done slowly. One day after another, you have to take the vanilla out in the air in order to begin to dry, and in the night you have to take it inside and cover it with some blankets. It's a really delicate process. It takes around 2 or 3 weeks when they do it directly to the sun, but in our case we have a controlled shadow curing process. It takes more, sometimes a month and a half.
And it's the curing itself that develops the flavor?
Yeah, that's right. You have to begin drying. The first step for the curing is, we call it like killing the bean. It has to stop developing. So some people kill it directly at the high temperature in the sun. Some in Madagascar they put it in boiling water, and then when the bean is like stop decomposing, you begin the curing process by drying it little by little, day after day, until it gets a certain humidity that it's around 28%, 25-28%, and in that time the content of all the aromatic components is developing little by little.
Can you tell me something about, is there an origin story around vanilla?
Yes.
Because, I mean, that seems like a pretty long, drawn-out, sophisticated process to just have intuited.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, actually, the first vanilla, I think, cultivated, the people who did this was the Totonaca people in Veracruz. Mm-hmm. And the origin was naturally cured by the nature. Mm-hmm. They found some vanilla beans already cured, still hanging from the plant tree, and they discovered these beans had an amazing aroma. And for the cultivation process, it also has a story, because that plant cannot be pollinated, it cannot reproduce, but just manually or by a special bee that we have in that region. It's called the Melipona bee.
So it can't be hand pollinated?
Originally, no, it wasn't hand pollinated in Mexico. It was pollinated by this bee. Then, in order to be able to take it to other countries like Madagascar, it was after maybe 100 or 200 years trying to grow it elsewhere, that they developed this technique of hand pollinating. That's why it was only Mexico the producer until they developed this technique. And there's also like a mythology story behind all the vanilla curing process, and they tell that these people, the Totonaca, they have the tradition that taking care of the vanilla is like taking care of a woman. Traditionally, the vanilla was basically used for preparing a beverage based in cocoa beans, for the emperor, for example, in the Aztec Empire. They mix the cocoa beans, some vanilla, and some peppers, chili peppers, and sometimes also corn. Today, that you can find some of those ancient beverages in some regions of Chiapas, Oaxaca, Veracruz.
Is there and there was a religious significance to it?
It was called like the beverage for the gods. The vanilla produced in this region that we have the plantation, it's called Papantla. It was like the personal reserve for the emperor. It's just like it's really beautiful flower, white, and it has a really complex reproduction system. It only opens once, one day a year, and it has to be pollinated that day. Then the flower closes at night. If it wasn't pollinated, the flower dies. If it was pollinated, you will obtain one vanilla bean from each flower. They bloom around, in Mexico it's around March, April. You have like a couple of 1 month and a half period, but each flower is just one day. So the work is really hard because they have to go out every day in the morning to verify which flowers have been pollinated, which flowers have opened, and do that by hand, and then remember which one is already pollinated. So there are some.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good.